Hello, it's Simone. I'm here to share my November planner update with you, and a lot has happened in the last month. So I have lots of old planners here that I want to go through and check out a bit, so I'm gonna move them to the side. But this is the reason why I started thinking about my planner system, that I noticed that maybe something wasn't really working for me. It felt good, it felt cute, but was it really helping? So let's go and dig a bit deeper. Starting in July of 2022, I moved into this Stalogy half-year notebook. I have used a Stalogy notebook in 2020 and it was quite successful and I really enjoyed using it. I loved the paper, I loved the size. And I also didn't mind penciling in the monthlies and setting up the weeklies every month. That was something that I really enjoyed. During the month of September and starting in October, even though I did use these number stickers, I noticed that I wasn't really enjoying this process. I wished quite often that everything was already set up, that I didn't really have to do all of this to be able to use it functionally. And so I wasn't 100% happy. And then I received this notepad in a subscription box that I tried, and it felt really handy. And I thought, why don't I put, I think it was here, why don't I put my to-dos that I think of in the spur of the moment when I'm doing something else and I think of it, I write it here. And I realized that even though the idea of logging my day in this format is quite nice and works okay, it is when I do it extensively and I log all the things, then it's quite a long list of things that I need to see through and figure out what note goes where. Is this still relevant? What will I do with this information? Is this a task that I need to do? Do I have to move it somewhere? And as you can see, I used to just then leave everything else off and only put my to-do list here. So something wasn't really working. This felt like a really good idea, and it still is. I've been using it since then, and I'm just crossing off the dates or the to-dos, the items that I have already placed in a specific notebook, and it really works. So what actually works? I leave this folded to the open page that I'm currently on right here. I often this was included in this notepad. I often put it right like this so that the papers don't crinkle, and then I just throw it into my bag. I have a pen on my desk somewhere, and every time I think of something that I need to do, an idea that I have, an ink that I see on screen somewhere, I just put the date, if it's not today, if it's not already there, put down that idea, that thought, and then at the end of the day, or at the latest at the end of the week, I go through this whole notepad and go through and see what exactly, where does this go? I do have a list of inks that I would love to try, so I move this over to that list and then I cross it off. I do have a fountain pen wish list, so I take this and move it over. I have an ink wish list. The idea was to put that into my Hobonichi Weeks. So I go through, put the ideas where they go. I have several notebooks for specific things and several lists in specific places. And so instead of having to grab that ink wish list, I just put it here. In my last video, I talked about the idea of going back to this setup. I arrived at this because of that notepad, and I thought about maybe moving into a traveler's notebook weekly, and then adding a monthly notebook and a blank page notebook for all the lists and thoughts that I need to write down somewhere. But that didn't really appeal to me because I have used that system and I did not like having that many books. So I needed something else. What I did not think of was the Hobonichi Weeks. I did not take it into consideration because I have tried using this in the past for this system right here, where I log every day and put down a lot of information, and it didn't work for my handwriting. And so I do have this 2020 weeks in my stash because I started using it as a gratitude journal and then abandoned it halfway through the year. So I didn't really break the bank. I just opened it and started trying how it works because it has everything that I was looking for in a planner. It was just really small, which this is also very small, and I have been using this successfully. And in 2021, I used a pocket traveler's notebook, which is even smaller than A6 successfully. So this could be working now. So I broke out that Hobonichi Weeks. I published my video, I think, on the 5th, and I had already started using it after I filmed the video. I uploaded it, and then I was like, you know what? A Hobonichi Weeks fulfills all of the criteria in a planner that I'm currently looking for. It has a monthly in the front, it has weekly sections, and it has blank grid pages that are even numbered in the back. And that's exactly what I was looking for. So why not try this for several weeks and see if this is working? So here is where I am. I started using it on the 4th. I tested it out. I needed to find a way where I would put my work hours just to still visualize what I did in here, at least see the days that I'm working somewhere. So I decided to use a mildliner and just highlight the edge here and then write the hours that I'm working right here. So it would give me a good idea of what days I was off. And then I can look at the actual vertical time block on my electronic calendar in my phone or on my computer. So I can get 4 or sometimes 5 to-dos on one day without having to cram my handwriting and writing exceptionally small. There are some things that I can put over on this side, just some reminders that might not be a to-do, but that might have something to do with me. I have a lot of room for a to-do list. I don't feel like I have to break it up into various different lines because it's too narrow. So that works. So that was the first few days. Then the next week, the first full week that I used it, looks like this. I put all of, again, my work week right here, my to-dos that I know when I have to do them or when I'm getting to the closer to the day, I fill those in, and I have my weekly to-do list right here. What I noticed that week was that when I would look at this to-do list, it was very hard to understand whether it is for my family or a household chore, whether it is something that I want to do for Ko-fi, or whether it is something that is related to YouTube. So the next week, I decided to divide up this blank page into 3 different categories, which are family, Ko-fi, and YouTube. This is the hierarchy that they are sorted. This is most important, second, and then third. And then I used two days basically here to divide this into the 3 sections. And then I have 1 section left where I put the letter that I wrote that week and a book or something that I'm currently interested in, because I publish a currently every Saturday on Ko-fi, and so it's always good to know about something that I want to tell my Ko-fi subscribers. And so that week it was this book. I really enjoyed this, and it worked quite well. These are still highlighted. I'm using these tabs. I got this idea a long time ago from Dakshina, where she, instead of highlighting the to-dos that haven't been done, and then they're still highlighted even though I have gotten to them and moved them forward or actually checked them off, they're still highlighted and sticking out. When I took care of this to-do, I can take it off and it's the same color as everything else. Because the Hobonichi Weeks 2023 starts on November 28th, which is 2 or 3 days after I filmed this. I haven't moved these tasks over to my to-do list because I want to move them into my new Hobonichi Weeks. I don't see a reason why I should make lists that are even maybe go further than the end of the year in this notebook, and I then have to rewrite and transfer them. That doesn't really make sense to me, so I am going to start the new Hobonichi Weeks when it starts on the 28th, and then have all of those collections and lists that are important for me for a long time in that new book. So this is that last week. It worked really well, so I made the same layout for this current week. I'm actually even not 2-3 days, it's more than 3 days. Today's the 23rd that I'm filming this. I'm right here. I already did this, and I'm working on this. So I really enjoy looking at this and working with this. It's super functional. There's no stickers. The only thing that I have in here is the highlighter and then a different pen color. But other than that, there's nothing that is pretty. And I'm totally okay with that. I'm currently not in need of a pretty planner. And if I wanted it to be pretty, I could definitely find tiny spots where I could stick a sticker, but that's not what I'm looking for in a planner at the moment. Here's what the monthly looks like. Unfortunately, I somehow lost this pen in this room, which I don't really understand how that works, but I did. So I have changed. So I need to pick another color because they have 2 different meanings. I am putting in, I want to put in birthdays, irregular appointments, things that are not reoccurring, like sports that my kids go to every day or every week is not in this calendar. This is outside of the usual occurrences, like Thanksgiving week, doctor's appointments, field trips, Zoom calls, the Pelican Hub, stuff like that. I haven't put in anything in here yet because I know that I'm moving into my new planner, which I have over here. But what I really like about this as well is that I can write things into these monthlies, even if I haven't made or penciled in the monthly just yet. That is something, even though it didn't bother me for a very, very long time that I didn't have all the monthlies ready to go. That's something that I currently think that's something that is going to that I'm going to benefit from, having the possibility to work in here even though I haven't set it up, having the possibility to write a to-do item into a week that isn't set up yet feels very appealing to me at the moment. So as you can see, there is already penciled in to climbing competitions that are happening on those days, and it feels very good. So this is what my new Hobonichi came packaged in. I cut it down a tiny bit, but I noticed that I really enjoy having this as a placeholder for the week. And I know I could use, now I'm looking for the new planner, which isn't here, which is very weird. This is the new one. I know I could use the pencil board, but what I really appreciate about this is that I can look through this. I can see through, and that makes it super appealing. So if you have this still and you want to try this, I just cut it down about 1 centimeter and now it fits in here. I attached this Midori metal clip to this plastic and now I can open it at the current week. One benefit of this is also that you don't damage your pages on the side, which is not really something that is bothering me, but if that's something that is happening to you, then this might be your hack. So now, I like how this works, but it is not 100% perfect. What do I mean by that? If you have been following me for a long time, you know that I used to do the same thing as Dakshina, for instance, or someone else who is really good at promoting this is SM Plants. I think her name is Sierra, if I'm not mistaken. Having a routine for the day, a daily review like this. I used to do this when I was in a pocket planner, and I think this is still from the 2020 A6 planner. I just cut it down even more. It was a daily routine or a daily review where I would move my tasks, update my tracker, put a daily snippet in my cousin, and then prep the Instagram posts. That was important to me at that time. I don't have my daily routines written out anymore. And I think that's exactly where I'm lacking in my planning or in my preparation and being able to be not necessarily more productive, but more effective in what I'm doing here. So if I have my to-do list in here, when I get up on Wednesday morning, I can check it, do it, or even if I don't even check this, but if I sit down and Tuesday night and I already know what I'm going to do the next day, I might even remember and I wouldn't even have to look this up because I already know that that's what's going to happen the next day. So being aware and being more involved with a daily review would be helpful. I used to have my weekly reviews written out. I'm currently looking if I can find them somewhere. So this was my weekly review. I had a whole set of things that I was going to do. I would put my next week in my planner. When I set it up, I would review the past week. I would do What are the unfinished tasks? What didn't go well? What went well? What is my focus for next week? Do I have any notes on my phone? I would write down all of the expenses. I would check for actions. What is my next actions list? My inbox, my birthday list. Check my monthly list. Check my emails. Is there something that I'm waiting on? Do I have to act on that? What about YouTube? All of that I would do on a weekly basis. And I think the reason why I personally didn't do that anymore is because this looks so overwhelming, and I'm afraid that it takes so much time, so that I just don't do it. I would think of Instagram posts that I would want to make. I would take Instagram photos for those posts. I would set my alarms because I work different shifts during the week, so I would need to make sure that my alarms are set to be there on time. I would go through my downloads on my computer and delete everything that I didn't need anymore. And then I tried to do a chat book for the whole family where I put major events, photos from that week that I wanted to remember, and then would put those photos on there. So this hasn't been updated since 2021 when I tried that with the chat books, and that is noticeable because I'm not using it anymore. Then I had a whole list of monthly review. And so my thought is, so that is what I am going to work on in the next weeks. Figure out what is important for me, what I need to do on a monthly basis, what I need to review on a weekly basis, what I want to be my daily routine, and put those somewhere so that I can remember them. That's actually the reason why I brought out all of those planners. I wanted to see what lists I had that I need to move over to 2023. So this was when I was in the, I think here. Yep, that's what the beginning of the 2022, I tried to use the Jibun days. And I was so convinced that this was going to be the perfect planner for me, but it turned out not to be at all. So interesting experience for sure. I did not enjoy using this. I felt lost on the daily pages. And now that I'm moving into a Hobonichi Weeks with horizontal weeklies, it's so weird to think that I was so opposed to horizontal weeklies for such a long time. But this is what seems to be working right now, and so why shouldn't I use it? This was in 2018 when I used daily on 2 pages. I was looking if there was some pages in the back where I had lists. So this is goals for the month. And then here was present ideas. That's a list that I want to have again. This is so weird. It's still in here. Then there's a spending tracker. Yep, that's it. So I just wanted to see if there were any lists, any things in there that I needed to remember. I remember that this worked quite well for me when I used it. I didn't for a while. I had a recurring tasks list, which obviously didn't work. What else did I have? I had, I put my money right here. I had a wish list. That's something that I definitely want to use. I had a book list, didn't really work here. Gift ideas. And then I had a tracker. And I think this is when I had that weekly fill out my tracker. I don't really keep up with tracking, as you can see. It's always in the beginning of the year I track, but then I don't anymore because it just doesn't, I'm just not a tracking person. So this is my son taking a shower. I just don't have the time to film without anybody here. So it's the week where my family is home. And next week I'm working so many days. But what I really liked about this was the collections or ideas book that I used. And really enjoyed having the extra book for my, let me check where it is, for my monthlies. Where is that? Birthday calendar, that's a no spend, why I do it, planning for 2020, May, journal update. I think that was video notes too. Address change, I moved. Chores, oh, that was something that I needed to move. Yeah, so when are these things being done? This is basically what needs to be done to have the house clean. That was a video schedule. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I really enjoyed having a monthly to-do list in a separate notebook. So when I had my weekly planner here, I could check here what were the things that I was going to do during this week. Wow, look at this. Interesting. I'm not moving in here, just I used a planner very effectively for a while, but not since the pandemic started, it wasn't really that helpful anymore. And so here is a December list with things I wanted to do. There was cleaning tasks that I wanted to do. I had a printable that I printed every month, basically, so that I would remember to assign these tasks to my kids or do them myself. I need to figure out something where I can be definitely more productive with my house chores, because that's something that I don't do. So I have these tiny notebooks that work in the back of the Hobonichi Weeks, and I think what I'm going to have in here is the monthly lists. So a monthly to-do list and a monthly ideas list where all of those, not the someday maybe, but the thing, not necessarily this month, but maybe next month. Items go. I want to have a yearly overview of tasks that I need to do, household chores and tasks that I need to do on a monthly basis, so I can write down when I have done them. And I think that was something that was in this notebook, or maybe I cut it down. Where could that be? Let me check. Yeah, these are the cleaning things that I had made for my ring binder. Yes, this is the thing. So I had change bed sheets, decalcify stuff, deal with cat litter, change the filter in my cat water, and then I put the date when I was supposed to do it, and when I actually did it I put here, so that the next month I knew what day I was supposed to be doing it. And I want something like this again. And then I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with the cleaning stuff. Maybe I'll make another notebook just for cleaning tasks. I'm not sure. And then I have this trigger list that I printed in the beginning of this year. I've never moved it or made it for my work for myself. That's things that I want to do in the month of December to make this a workable planner for me. So I want to have the monthly stuff lists in a separate notebook, and then I want to have all of the random notes that I take in here. The notes that I take at meetings, the lists that I make for writing letters, all that goes here. There is 75 numbered pages in here, and I think that I can get that I'm not going to use more than this. If I am, then, and this is still working next year when I'm choosing the 2024 planner, then I might just go and buy a Hobonichi Weeks Mega, but that's not something that I'm considering at the moment. So I'm moving into this next week, and throughout the month of December, I am going to set this up so that it will work for me. Let's see how successful I am with that. But I think really I need to go back to figuring out a way to be more connected with my chores. Or at least even if I don't do them, then I know that I need to assign them to one of my children, and to know by those reviews how good I am doing on the monthly tasks, the weekly tasks, the daily tasks. I think what happened was that I had those, I have to do these all in my head, and then they just overloaded and fell off. And by putting them back onto paper and onto a list, I hope I will get to them in the future. What do you think about my choice for Hobonichi Weeks planner? I was debating whether I would be using, so now I'm looking for another planner, the Aurora Duty Weeks for my planner, because that's what I was going to use as my ink jotter, or if I was going to get another Hobonichi Weeks. And I really like how some people are really opposed to this because it's so slick and smooth and shiny on the outside. I really like that, and I don't want to put a cover on this. So the decision was made that I'm going to use this for my planner and this for my ink jotter. I talked through this with my son because I need a pocket right here for this ruler. I need these sticky tabs right here for highlighting the to-dos that I still need to do. And then I also want to slide this notebook in here. And so I need, and also have my pen right here. I really like how this works together. It's not the same blue and not the same brown, but it's kind of like it was meant to be. So since I'm going to need the cover, I decided that I'm going to use the Bunny Weeks. And also I couldn't not get the Bunny Weeks because I had the Tiger Weeks in 2022, and let me check. I had the Swallow Weeks in 2021 and the Tokyo Tower Weeks in 2020. So I remember when I ordered the Aurora Duty that I was like, I'm breaking the cycle here. And now I'm really excited that I'm not. Also, next year is the year of the bunny, which I'm also very excited about. Let me know what you think. Do you think that I'm going to be successful with this, or that I'm going to switch out of this planner halfway through the year or even in the beginning of the year? Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's okay if you think that I'm going to fail. I'm not looking for a planner that will get me through years and years. Currently, it is working. I hope it's going to work more than just for the next few weeks. But if that is the case, then I do have multiple options, notebooks, empty notebooks that I have laying around that I could repurpose for planners. So I'm not really worried about not having a planner for 2023 if this ends up to be just a spur of the moment thing. So I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon. Until the next time, take care and happy December. Bye.